You're about to see a film of a new art form called a happening. Watch closely. That was a happening. The creator of this and many other happenings is our first guest on To Tell the Truth. What is your name, please?
My name is Alan Capreau.
My name is Alan Capreau.
My name is Alan Capreau.
Only one of these gentlemen is the real Alan Capreau. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle on To Tell the Truth. And now here's our host on To Tell the Truth, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Good evening, panel. Good evening. It's a moment I anticipate with the rarest of pleasure. Please open your envelope and follow along with me as I read from this first story, please. I, Alan Capreau, am the innovator of a new form of modern art, the happening. A happening might be described as the acting out of the games that adults play in their imagination. It usually includes active participation by human beings. The people act both as performers and audience at the same time. The result often looks like a combination of an amusement park funhouse and a three-ring circus. For example, the emotion response of seeing gaily colored oil drums being pushed into a sand pit to create an abstract design. Or the aesthetic satisfaction of watching a couple of hundred exuberant kids turned loose with paint and brushes to use on the wrecks in an automobile junkyard. Or the excitement created by a sea of man-made foam for usually sober-minded citizens to cavort around in. Happenings have gained popular acceptance in the past few years. Schools and colleges all over the country are producing them, and recently I organized a most rewarding happening with the blessing of the city, in which hundreds of children participated right in Manhattan's Central Park. Signed, Alan Capreau. Panel, these three gentlemen, as you heard, all claim to be Alan Capreau. We'll start the happening, or the questioning, with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Number one, what did the children do in Central Park?
They do much as they please. They have a good time.
Uh-huh. It's a good thing they do it in Central Park. Not in my house. Number two, is Dadaism sort of the beginning of all of this?
You might say that possibly. There are a lot of arts that are the beginning of happenings.
Number three, would you say Andy Warhol would perhaps be the Dada of this now?
No, Andy Warhol, I don't think has ever done a happening.
Uh-huh. Number one, do you know who's the editor of the Tulane Review, who's reviewed this kind of thing many times?
Yes, I do. His name escapes me right now.
Thank you.
Tom Poston.
Thank you. Number two, who would you say started the happenings that have become so popular?
John Cage.
Number three, aren't they usually kind of sexy, these happenings? I mean, yeah, aren't they? When we saw the girls in those beds and everything, I thought that was kind of... Aren't happenings often sort of warm and sexy and friendly and like that, number three?
I try my best.
Attaboy. Okay, number one, now we come to the main question. Where do you get the girls to participate in these?
I'm happy to say they're volunteers.
Oh, I believe they are.
Peggy Cass.
Well, number one, if they're all that great, where do you go to volunteer?
Give me your name after the program.
Oh, thank you very much. Number three, do you know who Sam Green is?
I think I met him somewhere in an art gallery.
Thank you. And number one, do you ever charge admission for the happenings?
No.
Well, number two, do you ever give your happenings, or are happenings ever happening in a theater?
Possibly.
And number three, have you ever had happenings in restaurants?
Yes.
What do the other customers think when you're all acting like a...
Orson Bean.
The first happening took place in Penobscot, Maine in 1932 when my late Uncle Ordway fed a bushel basket of lay or bust chicken feed to a barn full of roosters. Number happened this summer? Thank you, Tom. Number one, what happened this summer at East Hampton, Long Island?
We had a good time, especially with the fire foam and the children.
Number three, hasn't that been made into a TV show?
Yes, it has.
Was it shown?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Number two.
That's it. That's all the time we have. But there is time to vote. So mark your ballots, if you will, please, with all those busted roosters, if you want to. But mark them at once without consultation and, of course, without change. Vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive, of course, $250 for every incorrect vote. Your ballots all marked? Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted Bud for number 2 because although Orson didn't ask him a question directly, he was coming to him next and he looked like he would know the answer.
Peggy Cass.
I voted for number 3 because he knew about Sam Green, who's the curator of the Philadelphia Museum of Contemporary Arts and goes to lots of happenings.
Orson.
Well, number 3 said that Andy Warhol has never done a happening, and I think he has, but who knows, because everything he does looks like it could be a happening, that guy. I voted for him anyway, however.
Kitty.
I voted for number 2 because he said John Cage started this with an air of complete authority, and I believe that's the truth.
Well, there we have it. Answers are all in, and the questions have been parsed, and you've come up with your own particular votes with your reasons for doing so. Let's find out now which one of these 3 gentlemen, in truth, is Alan Capreau. Will the real Alan Capreau please stand up? Thank you very much, Mr. Capreau. Incidentally, Alan Capreau is professor of art at the State University of New York in Stony Brook, Long Island, and has just written a book called Assemblage, Environment, and Happenings. Good luck with it, sir. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Vince Lindner. I'm a newscaster on WJRZ in Newark.
Thank you. And number 2, what is your real name and what do you do?
Bill Neff, president of Films Plus. We make TV commercials.
Thank you, sir. Taking the score to 2 incorrect votes, and that's twice $250. Total, therefore, that you take along with you, I'm sure with great pleasure, is $500. Thank you for brightening our evening for us. Goodbye, and God bless you. We'll meet our next team of challengers in a minute, right after this message. And now let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Roy Mackel.
My name is Roy Mackel.
My name is Roy Mackel.
Follow along with your copies of this one, if you will, panel. I, Roy Mackel, am co-director of the Bureau for the Investigation of the Loch Ness Phenomena. Loch Ness is a 24-mile-long body of water in northern Scotland. And in the past 1,400 years, there have been thousands of reported sightings of a monster that supposedly inhabits its deep and mysterious waters. The descriptions of the Loch Ness monster vary. We are going to run for you now a film, unfortunately of very poor quality, that purports to show the monster on the surface of the loch. The ill-defined object, the dark object there, that is causing the wake is supposed to be part of the monster. It is my position and that of the Investigation Bureau that the monster is not a hoax. We are currently in the process of setting up a series of photographic observation posts along the shores of the loch. We hope to find solid objective evidence to solve the mystery of the existence of the fabled Loch Ness monster. Signed, Roy Mackel. Panel, these 3 gentlemen, as you heard, all claim to be Roy Mackel. Let's start the cross-examination this time with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Thank you, Bud. Number 1, it says that in the past 1,400 years, people have been reporting it. Do you think the Loch Ness monster is that old?
No, it's not.
Oh, then number 3, do you think there were Mr. and Mrs. Loch Ness? There were 2 in the beginning, and they've had children. Maybe the whole place is loaded with them.
No, I think there are several of them. This has been established. You can't have phenomena living that long. It was first seen by St. Columba, the man who brought Christianity to Scotland.
I see. Well, now, my dear number 2, is this supposed to be a fish or a reptile?
That we are endeavoring to decide.
And number 1, have you ever lost a person out fishing or anything?
No, this never happened.
Orson Bean.
Well, number 1, isn't it kind of sad when a rather romantic myth has exploded, like up at Perkinsville when they found that the soft waving of the crabgrass was caused by a giant roach? I don't want to go into the details, but number 1, don't you feel the kind of mixed feelings about finding out what it is?
I think the truth would be more exciting than the actual myth.
Yeah. What do you think about the sea slug theory?
Well, that's a speculation, but not an answer. This is only one idea.
Could be a giant sea slug, though. That would be shocking. Number 3, what about the pressure? In other words, if a creature lives far down, as the Loch Ness Monster, some people believe does, can he come up to the surface without exploding from the pressure?
Certainly.
Yeah?
Certainly.
But not for long?
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 2, is Loch Ness landlocked?
Oh, yes, indeed.
It is. Therefore, this number 3, this could not have come in from the sea and then gone back out again.
It could have come in from the sea many, many years ago.
But it couldn't get out now.
No.
Number 1, how deep is the lake?
The deepest part is 754 feet.
Number 2, is that deep enough for let's say, one of those huge monsters that presumably live in the bottom of the ocean to live in?
Oh, if you're speaking of an eel, which we suppose this could be, yes, of course.
Number 3, what is the largest marine animal that we know?
A whale is the largest marine animal. It couldn't live in the loch, though.
Tom Poston.
Number 1, have you ever sent divers down?
Yes, this has been tried.
Number 2, how about cameras that can go as deep as the ocean is altogether, with lights and so forth?
We're just experimenting with cameras. Perhaps this next summer we shall try several cameras. But of course, it's a loch, and the vision is limited.
Well, you could like those, but how about
That's all the time we have, I'm sorry to say, because it is a fascinating story. We'd all like to pursue it further, but we can't. However, there is time for you to vote, so I ask you to do just that. Mark your ballots, if you will, please. Mark them at once, without change, and without any consultation whatsoever. Vote. And select number 1, number 2, or number 3. Ballots all marked. Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I voted for number 1. He had a lot of conviction, and I believed him when he said, nope, it's not that old. Bang. So I voted for him.
Peggy.
I didn't vote for number 1 because he doesn't sound Scottish. And number 3 sounds English, so I voted for 2. That might be...
Orson Bean.
Well, number 3 pointed out that they didn't always have Christianity in Scotland, which is a typical English remark about other people. So I voted for him, also because he said that the whale is the biggest thing, and it is. The blue whale is the largest creature. That's a 3 there. That's,
thank you.
Been living in this pool since a week ago Thursday. Thousands of people have been living.
Very well. I thought it was a gaboon viper on vitamins. Kitty.
I voted for number 2 because he said with great authority that the loch is not easy to see in, and I imagine it may be a bit murky, and therefore the cameras wouldn't do too well. And I think he gave some good answers.
Well, there you are. With the minds all made up, the votes are as widely split as they can be. So let's find out now which one of these 3 gentlemen, in truth, is Roy Mackel. Will the real Roy Mackel please stand up? Well, it's great. You think you'll have some more conclusive evidence by this time next year?
We hope so.
Are you Scots just by ancestry?
No, I'm not Scotch by ancestry. I'm American.
Got a Scots name. Got a Scots name there.
Number 2, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Bernard Essex. I own and operate the Admiral Benbow Inn in Stamford, Connecticut.
Thank you, sir. Number 3, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
I've almost forgotten. My name is John Dunmore, and I work with Commander Whitehead, President of Schweppes. I'm a Scotsman.
Well, in checking the score, let's see, you did extremely well. There were 3 incorrect votes this time. That's 3 times $250 for a total of $750. You take along also with that our sincere thanks for being with us and our hopes that you enjoyed it as much as we did. Goodbye, and God bless you. Dr. Mackel, who is Associate Professor of Biochemistry at the University of Chicago, has asked that his share of the winnings be sent to the Bureau for the investigation of the Loch Ness phenomena, and this shall be done. We'll be back with our next team and play another game in a minute. But now, listen to this. And now let's meet our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Louise Kennedy. My name is Louise Kennedy. My name is Louise Kennedy.
Follow along with your copies of this story, if you will, panel. I, Louise Kennedy, live in Bangkok, Thailand, where my father is a United Nations official. One day, while working as a disc jockey on a local Thai radio station, I started singing along with a commercial. My boss heard me and challenged me to sing a song on the air. I accepted the dare and worked up a rock and roll version of a Thai folk song called Puyai Lee. Much to everyone's surprise, especially mine, it was an immediate success. I made a record of Puyai Lee, and within a month it climbed to #1 on the Thai hit parade. The song even received royal recognition when at a concert in Bangkok, my rock and roll version of Puyai Lee was played by an orchestra whose leader was none other than King Phumibol of Thailand. Signed, Louise Kennedy. Very well, these 3 young ladies all claim to be, as you heard, Louise Kennedy. We'll start with Tom Poston. Tom?
Thank you. Number 2, do you like rock and roll?
I sure do.
Number 3, do the kids in Thailand like it? Do they get to hear much of it, first of all, number 3?
Enough of it.
Number 1, your audience was listening to you talking in English?
Yes, they were.
Do they have native, is your station tuned in by the natives as well?
Yes, it is.
And do they like the rock and roll?
They like Elvis Presley. Yes.
That's funny. I never cared much for him. He doesn't really swing. No, oh, well. Just kidding.
Peggy Cass.
And number 2, are the Mamas and the Paupers popular?
They're not there yet, no. It's still Elvis Presley.
Well, number 3, when you speak in English, how do all those Siamese people understand what you're saying?
They do, though. They speak some English.
Do you speak some Siamese?
Yes.
Number 1, do you expect an American release on this record? Do you think that somebody here will record it?
I'm hoping to record it, yes.
Yes, we'll never be able to learn the words, but then I can never understand the words of those songs anyway.
Orson Bean.
Number 2, when Mayor Lindsay of New York goes on the Carson show and tells jokes, some of the local citizenry complain. Does anyone complain in Thailand when the king plays music on the clarinet?
No, they're all very glad to hear it.
Oh, they have class. Number 3, there's a little place in Bangkok. Who has the best daiquiri? There's a place I've heard about in Bangkok, Siam, where you can get a great daiquiri.
I think it's somewhere around the corner from the Erewhon Hotel.
That sounds good, number 3. Number 1, what do they call those boats that they have in the canals in Bangkok? Any special name or just boats?
No, we just call them boats.
Say, call a boat for me. All right.
Kitty.
Number 3, what was Thailand called before it was called Thailand?
Siam.
Number 2, is there a river where I always see those boats with the Thai silks and everything on a dock. Is there a river there, or is it on the sea, or what?
Well, there are many rivers in Siam, and of course there are the Klongs in Bangkok, which is probably where you see them. The canals, many canals.
And that's where they have the silks?
Yes.
Without change, and of course without consultation. Vote now, if you will, panel, for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Ballots They're all marked. Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
I don't see how you could possibly know for sure, but I thought that number 2 looked like she could be Kennedy, and they were all pretty girls, I'll say that.
Peggy.
Well, I think number 2 has such a nice smile that I voted for her because I think she'll be a terrific ambassador from this country to wherever she's sent.
Orson B.
I was torn between 1 and 3, and I voted for 3 because I think she's had a nice kind of wholesome look about her, like she could be an ambassador's daughter. And
You're number 3 at the bottom of a daiquiri, or
yes,
what?
that's a daiquiri.
Right. Kitty.
I voted for number 2 because she identified those canals for me and called them clongs, and I'm sure that's what they're really called.
Clods is what they're really called.
Well, there we have it. And it's not as widely split as before, but we'll see what it does when the truth stares it in the face. I'll tell you what. Norman Paris and his group are waiting to accompany Louise, who will sing in the Thai language the #1 song on the Thailand hit parade. So, will the real Louise Kennedy go up and join them? Louise, thank you. That was just great.
I understood every word.
It was very professional.
Is there any message in the song, in the words themselves? Are they...
No, it's just a Thai protest song.
A Thai protest song?
That's great.
Just as well we couldn't.
Glad to know that they grumble over there, too.
Well, we wish you great success.
Thank you.
#1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Susan Mackal, and I'm a student here at Barnard College in New York.
And city lady #2, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Cassandra Newby. I'm a writer for Ingenue magazine.
Well, in checking the score, you did all right, too. Let's see, there were 1, 2, 3 incorrect votes. Again, that's 3 times $250 for a total of $750. Thank you, young ladies, for being with us. Especially thank you for making this part of our show quite as pretty as it is. Goodbye, and God bless you. We'll be back in a minute, but right now, this important message. I want to tell you something I neglected to bring out before, that Louise Kennedy is in the United States because she is beginning her sophomore year in Clark College in Dubuque, Iowa. That's why she's here. Well, that's all we have time for tonight, but you made it go very fast, panel, as you always do. Good night to you.
Good night,
Bud.
Good night to all of you. Join us the same time next week, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon with the daytime show. In the meantime, don't you forget to tell the truth. Bye.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Miss Carlisle's dress by Bill Black.
Stay tuned for I've Got a Secret as guest star Rose Marie puts the panel through trial by jury. Watch.